So I was actually about to go record some Baldur's Gate 3 for the Sacred Excel channel, but I figured I'd go on YouTube and check out some things because you know how long Baldur's Gate is, right? So I went on YouTube and the first video to be recommended to me was a video, I'm gonna load it up right now, is a video called What Pokemon Legends ZA Tells Us About the Future of Modern Pokemon. Now, if you don't know, over the last couple months, unfortunately, Pokemon Legends ZA has been a very controversial title. And I think at this point, it's whether you like it or you don't, but I think the game does tell us a whole bunch of things that Game Freak and even the Pokemon Company see Pokemon. And if you've been paying attention, they've been adding a whole bunch of MMO / raid aspects to their games in the last 3 or 4 entries. And so I figured if you don't see it, then hey, it is what it is. But there may be some more things. This video is 23 minutes long. Be sure to go check it out in the description section below. Be sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Support your content creators. Thank you. Leave a like on this video as well. Go down there. Check them out if you enjoyed the video. And with that being said, real talk. Let's get up into it. Talk to me, baby. Yeah. I like that logo. That's really good. That's really good. I like that logo a lot.
Your Emboar is missing. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that. Here, have a complimentary ham on me. Where'd I get it from? Don't worry about it, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving. I was good, Joe. Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. So, I apologize, it has been a couple of days since I've last posted. You know how it goes when the holidays are coming up. But to those who celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys had a phenomenal feast.
Oh, this was forever ago. Oh my, I'm late as hell.
Yada, yada, yada. I'm very thankful for all of you guys over the past couple of years that have been supporting me for as long as you have. You guys have no idea what you mean to me, and I hope to continue entertaining you for as long as humanly possible. That being said, and I'm still gonna be annoying about this, and I can't strain it enough, a very entertaining piece of media that I did put out a couple of weeks ago is my review to Pokemon Legends ZA. So, if you're wondering about any and all of my thoughts in regards to this game, I think it is probably in your best interest to go check that out. Link in my description again. I appreciate you guys. So, going forward with post-era Legends ZA, there's a good couple of things that a lot of us probably can't help but wonder about. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that by this time next year, we will have received the next major generational titles for Pokemon. And I think that it's very safe to...
Well, also, the games have been leaked. I mean, it was probably one of the biggest things to be talked about in September. Those games did not last long. I remember when the Terra leak came out, and I sat there and I was like, yeah, the whole 4 or 5 game plan for the next 5 or 6 years has already been leaked out. We already have them, and that was back in those documents were in 2023, 2022 ish. So those games are probably already in development. Those games are probably they've already taken down a whole bunch of leak information on that stuff. Who knows what's about to happen, bro? And I'll be honest, off the little beta build for Generation 10, I will say it will be another one of those interesting titles that I know for sure I'm gonna enjoy. I've seen enough of Generation 10 stuff that from 2022, 2023 that quite literally are yeah, I'm probably gonna play this. I'm more than likely gonna like this. This is gonna be my game. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go crazy on it. So it is what it is to me. I do think that a lot of people are probably going to be hating on it again, of course, but I know that next year we will be getting the announcement and the press run will start for Generation 10. That just is what it is. Because if you remember, Legends ZA was supposed to come out this year or no, last year, which probably means the DLC was probably supposed to get announced maybe this year. And then we get the DLC this year and then Generation 10. Because, it takes a couple months to announce the stuff. Games to last long or whatever, but I do think that we will be getting Generation 10.
Assume that game as well as Legends ZA were generally in development around the same time.
Yes.
Meaning that it's not entirely impossible for both of the teams working on either game to have cross-referenced each other a little bit. A little unlikely, probably, but not entirely impossible. And even if that doesn't happen to be the case for Generation 10 specifically, going forward, we could definitely reference more from Legends ZA. I think you get the general idea of what we're going to be talking about now, so why don't you go ahead, sit down, get cozy, grab a nice cold glass of maybe Coke Zero or something. Do people drink that? I don't know. Go ahead, grab a plate, warm up those Thanksgiving
We don't like Coke Zero. We don't like chat. We don't like Coke Zero, y'all. Is we cool?
leftovers, probably some alligator meat with some ranch and barbecue sauce mixed together for your dipping sauce, while we talk about what Legends EA could potentially tell us about the future of modern Pokemon. Firstly, and I know there was probably not any ounce of doubt about this whatsoever, but I feel like it's probably just important to clarify that Legends is for certain its own dedicated series going forward. For whatever reason, there still seems to be a lot of confusion as to whether or not the Legends titles are mainline titles or spin-off titles. They are mainline. They are mainline Pokemon games. Yes, they operate and look very different from the traditional games that we're used to, but that is the entire point.
I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between like mainline and flagship. Pokemon Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, Platinum, Diamond and Pearl, those are flagship Pokemon games. Those are like the games that usher in the new generation, right? The remakes are not flagship titles. The remakes are like if you say like how I see it is like the Legends games are just another third version series to me. Like if you really think about it, like every new generation, it always comes in two. It's the Diamond and Pearl, Scarlet and Violet, Black and White 2, Sun and Moon. Like those are like the beginning of a new era for Pokemon, right? Any games launched surrounding that or surrounding those like games are either spin-off titles from other developers and or kind of like other games. Like to me, the third version is just another interpretation. It's not a like Pokemon Emerald isn't a flagship game. Ruby and Sapphire are. Emerald's just the complete version of those games. You know what I'm saying? So for me, Legends ZA is another mainline Pokemon game. It's just not a flagship series, which, if you don't know, Pokemon Legends ZA was originally going to be a Pokemon Lugia and Ho-Oh, which would have been a very interesting take on the Legends series because Legends was just Arceus at first, right? So it's like, okay, you're doing two different stories or two different like iterations. It's kind of weird, but it's stuff like that. When it comes in two and it's a brand new generation, that to me is a flagship series. That's a flagship mainline game. Legends ZA, the remakes or like the sequel games or like the what's some things called? The third versions or whatever. Those are still mainline Pokemon games. They're just not like the flagship new generation. Here's 50 different new Pokemon. Here's like, new characters and stuff. Like this is just an add-on to what we already established is the new generation for Pokemon. And I think a lot of people, when you tell them that they're like, oh, these are mainline games, they be like, oh, like, no, it's not. It doesn't have the gym badges. It doesn't have the champion. But that's the point. That's the point. That's the point of it all. That's the reason why it's like that. It's like that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like you are being intent. Like you are being fed something new. You just don't like it. And when you tell people that they're wrong, or you tell people that like their classifications of some things are wrong, they get really defensive for some reason. I don't know why. It's like I get it. Whatever. Sure, people don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be proven wrong. But it's like, dog, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay. Like how you feel is not facts. It's okay to change your mind, people, but okay.
This is one of the ways that Game Freak is going to be able to spread their legs a little bit, do something a little bit more unique with the series, get creative, get experimental, do things that the other games, the generational titles, are not allowed to do. And I do say not allowed, but what I mean is they're not going to make such major changes that the generational titles are completely unrecognizable. They can't do that. They have the freedom to do that with the Legends titles. That's all I'm saying. Going forward,
if you ask me, I don't think they're allowed to change Pokemon. I think the formula is too good, too trial and true, right? It's like, how like in One Piece, there's like that meme where it's like, oh, here's new island. Islands being taken over. Luffy comes in, beats the nigga. Island is freed. Next, you know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's trial and true. It gets the job done. As kids, so many people are so attached to the 8 gym badge champion evil team by like the 6th or the 7th gym badge. That's it, right? People are so used to that formula is guaranteed 10 million copies on the first weekend. It's like, don't change this. Add new Pokemon, do things like this, and we're fine. If any of the mainline Pokemon games had this gameplay, like this combat mechanic, it would just be different. It would just be a different thing entirely. People might not like it all the way, but people love turn-based. Some people only like turn-based combat in Pokemon games. Well, to be honest, some Pokemon fans don't play Pokemon or don't play anything but Pokemon games. So it's like trying to tell them to go play other turn-based RPG monster taming games like pulling teeth, you know, and you know, it's like, oh, but I just can't do it. You're 35. You were 30 something years old. You can spread your wings, my guy. You can do that. It's okay to go play other games. It's all right? But it's like, because that formula is so stuck and ingrained in people's like memory, and because it does so well, I don't think they are allowed to change the formula. I think the closest they've been allowed to change that formula was the trials in Sun and Moon. But even then, if you really sit down and count what you're doing, you're still battling your eight important trainers. The evil team is either Team Aether or it's I guess Necrozma. You're still doing like your formula. The tasks are just different. They're named different. The islands are more free. So it's like you kind of like, they kind of mask it in a way, but it's the same formula over and over again. And I just think that they just can't change that unless they change the name of it and the approach of it. They have to do a whole bunch of like masking. Like even in this game, right? Even in Legends EA, y'all might have noticed it, but you're still fighting 8 important like trainers. And then you do it like you go to the ranks or whatever. Like you kind of like, it's kind of weird how they do it, but they've been masking that gym progression and that like whole cycle of like, you know, gym, little freedom or whatever, little side quest, important character battle, next story, whatever. They've been doing this shit for the longest time. And hey, people like it.
Allowed to have insane mechanics. We're going to be allowed to revisit stories from previous regions. We're going to be allowed to see these characters grow up, develop, become even more than we thought ever possible for these NPCs. While I do have love for Kalos, I was never as attached to it as I would have liked to be growing up. Now I feel a much stronger attachment to it than I ever thought possible. And at the time of this recording, we're still not.
Nah. The only reason why I say nah is because Kalos and Lumiose are 2 different things. I think that they dropped the ball not having a whole bunch of like returning characters in Kalos and Lumiose. I understand people are like, oh, we don't care about the X and Y cast, but I think that is very dumb. Because in my mind, right, here are trainers that have absolutely nothing to do with Kalos. And because they're new characters, you're able to like, oh, get attached to them and not the region itself or not the place. And because Lumiose is so big yet so samey, the only way you can actually love Lumiose is by the side quest. And most of the side quests are all like tutorial based quest or fetch quest or like, you know, item things or whatever. Then there's some side quests, there's a very small amount of them that actually do have like world building or world detailing dialogue. And it's like, okay, that's really cool. And you'll like walk around certain trainers or certain characters and like the NPCs or whatever, and they'll drop like, oh damn, this is a random person, Diantha, where she's at. She's somewhere across the region or something like that. She's out at work or whatever. Oh, Tierno, where's he? You know, what's her name? That's his brother. So it's like, it's like, I if anything, this just made me like kind of just like, because to me this is a brand new story anyway. It's literally just Lysander and AZ for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. That like I feel a lot more like emotionally attached to. Mabel's cool. She has a lot more personality. Taking this like random admin from Team Flare and giving her such a vibrant personality now that she's like on her own or whatever is real. That's a really good choice. That's a really fire choice, actually. And giving what's her name, Looker's entire organization and her being kind of like, I guess a helpful. The problem is she's worthless. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like if you like really look at what you're doing, like she kind of like, you maybe interact with her maybe like 2 or 3 side quests, and then you probably interact with her like maybe like 2 or 3 times in the main story, maybe 4. No, maybe 4. Because at the beginning, it's when you get the Mega Evolution stuff. It's when you do the what's his name, the Mega Chandelier Underground stuff, and the ending. So it's like you are just really. You're just adding things, and like Sander, him being like the new AZ is really good. Giving like the old Team Flare Grunt stuff is really cool. I don't feel as attached to Kalos as I used to be, which is weird to me because I think like they kind of dropped the ball, keeping the ZA Royale in the after game and not bringing any previous Pokemon trainer from Kalos to here. And you know how easy it is to be like, oh yeah, I heard that they're continuing the ZA Royale stuff, but they wouldn't let nobody in. The gates are open now. You can add more Pokemon to the things, more wild areas to Lumios if you wanted to. There's a lot more they could have did with Lumios that kind of like, I'm just like, y'all could have did way more than this, but I don't feel as attached to Kalos because it's just Lumios. I think a lot of people underestimate how samey Lumios is. It's really just waterway in the middle, 2 big ass little maze blocks that you can just climb up. And it's like, all right, well, it's cool. The battles are the more important thing, obviously, but it's like, it's kind of whatever,
Not even done with Kalos because we have an entire DLC that we're going to get to delve into. So that's really exciting. But long and short of it is, I'm just very excited that this is only the beginning when it comes to the Legends games, and we have a lot more to look forward to in the future. No doubt about it.
Yeah, we do.
In a very similar vein, this tells us that they are no longer scared of making sequels of any kind. It was very strange growing up with Pokemon and not really being on the internet all that much until like my later years in life, and realizing that back in the day, people really did not mess with Pokemon Black and White and Black 2 and White 2.
Yeah, well, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Pokemon fans are fucking idiots. I'll be honest. I'm so sick of like, I'm so sick of sugarcoating this shit. Pokemon fans are genuinely idiots. It's almost like, because what's going to happen is a new game will come out, they'll shit on it for being different, and in the next like 2 or 3 years, a soft spot will develop for it because they just happen to just be like, oh yeah, I'm so attached to this game now. I remember putting so many hours into it. You did not like the game 2 years ago. What are we talking about? And then the cycle repeats because the next game comes out, they don't like it because it's so different and so brand new and so off the rails. 3 or 4 years later, they like it. They got a soft spot for it because it just happened to fit in their depression episode, and they just got really attached to playing Pokemon. Y'all are fucking idiots. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's okay to like things, and I think the big takeaway is it's okay to go into things with a fresh mind. I know a lot of people love Pokemon. It's been there for you since a kid. It's helped with your depressive episodes. It's been a form of escapism for some of you. I get it, right? But not every game is going to do it for you right away. That is not how art works. Art is supposed to be watched, consumed, digested, and then you can form an actual opinion or whatever, right? You have to like, if you're somebody who's going to buy Pokemon games regardless, if you're somebody who's going to continuously feed the Pokemon machine, you kind of like, you have to go in every single game with just the bliss of just enjoying things. It's okay to like enjoy things. And it's also okay to be hypercritical about things as well. But it's like everybody does this thing where this game is not that good. I want you to know, don't let them tell the story differently. People hated Scarlet and Violet. I hated Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet are dick-ass games. They're garbage. I don't give a fuck what Switch 2 version does for it. I don't care what balance patchings. Those games are terrible. Those games are bad, but hey, they're the second highest selling Pokemon games. I can't take that away from nobody. It is what it is. If you have fun with it, you have fun with it. But those games are dog shit. And I don't see myself in the next 4 or 5 years coming back and saying, oh yeah, Scarlet and Violet are just good games now. No, those games are bad. Those games are bad. The same way that Sword and Shield are shit, those games are terrible. And that's okay. That's fine, right? I will never go back and play those games again to even consider a second playthrough, a fourth playthrough. I played those games like 3 times. I know what the fuck is terrible and what's good. What you're not gonna do is you're not gonna see me go on Twitter and try and get like a little small viral tweet about how underrated Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield are. Fuck no, those games are terrible. It's okay to have bad games. And it's also okay to like bad things as well. It's okay. It's all right. Because my thing is this, right? If Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet were any other gaming franchise, that studio would be shut down that same year. That's how bad those games are. But because it's Pokemon, because we like to buy merchandise and TCGs and shit like that, we were able to keep like those games afloat despite the quality of them being fucking terrible. You know, it's okay. But you will never see me try to come back and revision history those fuck ass games. Those games are bad. It's okay. People loved Legends Arceus, right? It's only now that you see people talk about how boring and how dry Legends Arceus is. You mean the only Pokemon game that's been nominated for Game of the Year or RPG of the Year? What? Come on. Shut up. Shut up. My fault.
Well, that, or maybe it's because my generation was too young to have a voice or a platform to really speak about why those games are
And you old Pokemon fans, y'all piss me off. You 34 plus niggas, y'all, my fault. I'm so sorry. My fault.
Really good. Regardless, about
no, fuck that. No. Y'all sat here and shitted on Ruby and Sapphire. We got Emerald. Y'all didn't support Emerald like that. Crazy. Y'all didn't like Black and White because you couldn't play with your fucking Pikachus in the game. But then now you like Black and White because you like story. All right. What? Y'all, the best thing y'all have done, old Pokemon fans, the best thing y'all have ever done in your lives was complain about the speed in Diamond and Pearl. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Because other than that, all y'all are good at is just buying merchandise and buying the games and being mad at the games in the comment section. There's not a single critique. Like it's like, oh yeah, Black and White 2 or Black and White, I couldn't use my Pikachu or my Charizard. These games are bad. These Pokemon are bad. Oh, but I love story. I love now that I'm 33. Oh, but I love I'm not 33. Let's relax. But now that they're 33, oh my God, I love story. I want Pokemon to have a lot more grit to it. I want Pokemon to be a lot more challenging. I want Pokemon to be a lot more oomph. It's like, dog, shut the hell up. You ain't even like when Pokemon was trying hard shit anyway. They got difficulty modes in Black and White 2. And Black and White 1 too, I'm pretty sure, right? Y'all did not like those games. They scrapped that whole shit, went right back to Kanto and Kalos. Ah, damn. Well, now we're here. Now you're still mad. Whatever.
Whenever that was, when we got that first major Terra leak from Pokemon, we saw a lot of information. And it was so long ago, I have to see if I could pull up the source, but I do recall them saying that after the release of Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, they were very nervous about ever doing something like a sequel again. I simply think it was just a bad timing situation when it comes to those releases, but regardless, we never saw another Black 2 or White 2.
The problem is they come out too early. They come out way too early. Pokemon does this thing, and they did this thing for a long time, where a game will get announced, a game will come out, and maybe like a year in, and maybe like a couple of months, they'll announce the next game. They do that now still. But it's just like, yo, you want people to pay $30 for this version, $30 for that version, and it's the exact same game. Now it's here's $60, $70. Here's $20, maybe $30 for a DLC. Give it like 2 years after that game. Then here's your new game. I like that way more personally. I like having like that breathing room. It makes people like, decide whether or not they like the game or whether or not they like, they want to feed the game. Because I hate that like Legends Arceus never got like any wings, unfortunately. Like we got like that big alpha update, maybe like a couple months afterwards, and there was no DLC for Legends Arceus. They didn't even do a Switch 2 like enhancement thing for Legends Arceus, which sucks. Because I'm like, that game was like critically acclaimed damn near. Y'all just left this game to die, which I think now they're trying to fix with like Legends ZA, because like, Legends ZA, we want more content. Arceus did really, really good. It's like, hey, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this time, right? So I think like I understand the point of being nervous. I just don't like the what's the word? When they how close these releases are to each other. I think that's very, very it's corporate greed, obviously, but I do think that like, having a sequel game is not bad at all, especially when the story is that rich, like a Black and White. I don't know, but anyway, my fault.
Again. Until now, with what is essentially our equivalent of Pokemon Z. And I couldn't be more happy about the fact if I genuinely tried, because I'm so happy that they decided to go the sequel route with Legends. Because, again, I was completely wrong in my assumption that Legends games were going to exclusively take place in the past. Could not be farther from the truth. But, again, I'm super happy about that. This opens up so many doors for so many possibilities, it's not even funny. Allegedly, Legends ZA was going to be a Johto-based title.
Yep.
That's crazy, but now that we have this, who's to say that we can't still have that inevitable Johto title?
Well, I'm gonna say with the next. Okay, if you don't want to get spoiled, because the whole purpose of this, it brings it a point, right? But I'm gonna say the next region that we're going to for the next Legends title, because it did get leaked or whatever, right? But if you don't want to skip like 3 or 4 seconds after I'm about to say what I'm about to say, but the next Legends game is going to be Legends Galar, and that is going to be in the past. And I remember they were talking about that they can still go back in Kalos. The Legends titles, they do a really good job at being so open-ended that they can do whatever it wants. Because the Legends series is so new and so young, they're able to be like, okay, cool, here's Pokemon Legends ZA, but you can still get a Pokemon Legends AZ or Pokemon Legends Z, and then it would just be another, because remember, there's an interview where Kalos was still being like, oh, where's the new form for Xerneas and Yveltal? We might put that in a game where we go back into the past, something like that. We might do that in like a future Kalos title, because people were confused, like where's Xerneas and Yveltal's new forms, and they were like, we might do that in another title. You never know, And I'm like, that's very interesting. But 2 games being in the past, 1 game being in like the future. I don't know if that's going to be like the trend where it's one in the past, one in the future, one in the past, one in the future, one in the past. But I do like the idea of like, them going back and them adding more context to these things and fleshing out more narratives for these games. I don't like how small they are. Lumiose, Lumiose is kind of big, it's really small compared to the rest of the Kalos region. Kalos is small. Kalos is big. Kalos is humongous. I hope that's not the case for the next one. Legends Galar is probably going to just be the wild area, unfortunately, which would suck so much dick. But it's like, we see like the little like screenshots of what Legends Galar is, and it's like, okay, it's like Shadow Colossus, like, who knows? But it's if we're gonna be focused more on like story and like making the gameplay be as like very like lukewarm and fun as possible, I guess it's okay. It's whatever. It's just cool. But I would like to see, to be honest with you, I think a Black and White, I think a Pokemon Unova Legends Unova game is like it damn near is like trial and true. That has to be coming. A Legends Johto game, I'll be honest, Legends Johto does not have anything. I know a lot of people like to mention like, oh, the Burnt Tower, but that's literally it. Lugia doesn't even like have any like attachment or any like reverence in Johto. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have anything. And then it's like, okay, cool. You meet him and he's in the thing. I mean, I guess it could be like, oh, hey, like, it could be, I guess it could be, oh, there's two towers. They worship two deities. One tower got burnt and they went away. It can show how Lugia went away to that another. Who knows? But there's not really much else there. And to be honest with you, people are gonna be like, oh, what about the ruins of the unknown? That was already done in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That was like because if you remember, like you kind of just went up in there in the regular games. Like you went up in there, got your unknown, got your things, and you kind of like that was it. There wasn't a legendary Pokemon attached to that. There wasn't like a story thing attached to that. That was Then in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it's the same thing, but then Cynthia's there, or like other people who are like interested in that thing are there, and like they don't really do anything until that Arceus event. So it's like they would have to be coming up with a brand new story, and it would have to make sense, because otherwise it would just be like a random shoehorn story. And I don't know. That's just I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just remember Johto being like not that crazy. Johto's problems and Johto's conflict were a lot more Were a lot more modern because of the fact that it was just Team Rocket coming back again. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people are so consumed by the burnt tower that they fail to remember that there wasn't anything to the burnt tower at all. It was just, hey, this tower is burning. Ho-Oh saved these 3 legendary Pokemon, or these Pokemon, and here you go. You feel me? And that's it. Like, but there's nothing wrong with adding to the story too. So I mean, it is what it is.
That could be the next Legends game for all we know. But even if that's not the case, I am absolutely not opposed to revisiting Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, whether it's in the distant past or the far future. There's just so much pre-established lore within the world of Pokemon that they have not fully tapped into yet, and I'm really excited for Legends to be that. Whether it's in the form of a prequel or a sequel, it doesn't matter. I'm happy to have it either way. After that, not that this one is necessarily guaranteed, but it seems a little more likely that going forward, the games are probably going to at least function properly from now on. I'm pretty sure that one thing a lot of people don't really understand is that extra year that they took of complete silence when it comes to Pokemon also likely applied to all of their other projects as well, because it wasn't just Legends ZA in development. We know that. And that was probably the only and best time that they could take to put in any extra time and hours that they could into whatever they're developing next, likely Generation 10 for 2026. But whatever the case may be when it comes to that, they had an extra year and they're working with much better hardware. Everybody has a lot of varying and valid opinions when it comes to Pokemon Legends ZA, but the one thing I think most of us can at least agree on, at least when it comes to the Switch 2 players, is that the game functions properly. Which I get is a very bare minimum thing and shouldn't be a problem that we should have to worry about for a AAA title $70 game, but unfortunately it is, which is why I'm bringing this up now. You have to remember that Pokemon Legends ZA is likely the last cross-generation game, which means that the next major Pokemon title is likely going.
It's Switch 2 exclusive. Generation 10, the next mainline Pokemon game that's going to be announced in February is going to be Gen 2 exclusive. That's the only spoiler you're going to be getting from me until we get closer to the date of the announcement. But if you don't have a Switch 2, you're assed out. I'm going to be honest with you. If you did not get a Switch 2, if you're not looking to get a Switch 2, sucks, buddy. You're not getting a Switch 1 Generation 10. I hate to break it to you. So if you don't got the $500 to chill out, they don't care.
Going to be Switch 2 exclusive. I don't think it's all that crazy to say that one of the major things that probably held Pokemon Legends ZA back from its graphical capabilities was the fact that they were cross-gen developing for it, and they had to make sure that it ran smoothly on Switch 1 as well. And from the reports that I heard, it actually functioned pretty damn well.
No. No, the Switch 1 version is the true version of that game. The Switch 2 version is just like it's because of that extra year. Remember, we were supposed to get this game last year. We were supposed to get the game last year. But because of scheduling, because of the Switch 2, like the games are still relatively the same. The Switch 1 version, it doesn't run horribly, but it's still like a little bit sluggish sometimes. Some like, you know, there's still like longer loading times for sure. There's still like little clips here and there and like the buildings or whatever, the textures or whatever. Like it's still there. I know in like the Switch 2 version, they look better. Like the models look better. The lighting looks better. The town doesn't like flicker in the distance anymore, which is great. It's little small, little technical stuff is better in the Switch 2 version, but for the most part, like the Switch 1 version is still playable. It's just slower. I think that's kind of just where I'm at with it. And like the Switch 1 version is the real version of the game. Like that, it's a Switch 1 game that they just ported over to the Switch 2 because of the Switch 2. You know what I'm saying? It's like hey, before you drop this, let's delay it a year and give these guys an upscale version of this and just sell it to them. Here you go. You know, that's kind of just what that is. The games, I'm pretty sure we all remember back when I'm pretty sure it was either earlier this year or it was like late last year. Legend ZA was like already like done for the most part. It was maybe like a couple of side quests that were missing or whatever. And like that build of the game, people knew what ZA was about last year. Story-wise, gameplay-wise, mechanic-wise. When that first leak happened and everything got destroyed or whatever, everything got shredded to like, you knew everything about Legend ZA. We just didn't have the opportunity to play the game because that build wasn't out. But for the most part, that game was done. Legend ZA was done. Like it was done. There was maybe, like I said, a couple of side quests missing, but for the most part, the game was playable and it was completable. Like that was it, right? And, you know, you can choose not to believe the leaker or whatever if you don't want to, but they were right about every single thing that came out in the game. They were right. Like they were correct about everything that they ever said in the game when it was done about. So it's like the game, that kind of like what does it for me is that like knowing the game was finished the year it was supposed to come out, barring a couple of side quests, and they took that extra year to maybe work on the Switch 2 version and then to plan out DLC and have the DLC ready. You know, I feel better because the Switch 1 version that I played was kind of solid. It was all right. It was playable. It was whatever, you know. But the Switch 2 version is obviously better, obviously more upscaled. It just runs smoother. It runs like butter. That's kind of what I like about it. Hey, that joint looks crazy. But it's Switch. It's a Switch 1 game that they just upscaled for the Switch 2, and that's okay. That's kind of like what the point that I'm trying to like make. Like this game was supposed to come out last year. It was done last year. It was finished. You know, and they just delayed it. My fault.
If that's the case for Legend ZA, which was splitting their time like that, then I have to imagine that a fully dedicated Switch 2 title for Pokemon is probably gonna look and run at least a little bit better. Maybe I'm hoping, maybe I'm dreaming, but I really would like to believe that they took their own comments seriously when it came to the cadence of Pokemon releases. At bare minimum, it is more than fair for the consumer to expect a functioning game for something they're spending AAA title price on. If the actual next mainline title is going to be a good game overall, I can't say. I'm not going to speak on that yet. But right now, I think it's safe to say that those games are probably guaranteed to at least function properly, run at 60 frames, maybe even higher, and high resolution. That's all we can ask for.
Yeah.
Textures are...
The bar is in hell, but you know what? Hey. The bar is in hell, but you know what? Whatever the consumer wants, bro. Someone's in my eye. Oh my God. But yeah, I don't know.
Apparently, so we'll have to see what happens with that. The next thing, and I'm only touching on this very briefly because we already talked about this in a dedicated video, but real-time battles do work very well for Pokemon. Now, I'm going to clarify this once again because there are people that don't fully understand what's happening with that, but real-time battles are not replacing turn-based battles. The original concept of turn-based battles are way too ingrained in the mainline generational titles for those to be just completely eradicated. I would be genuinely shocked out of my mind if we did not get turn-based combat in Generation 10.
I would like
I can
it.
say with full confidence that it's not going anywhere.
I would like it personally.
However, Legend ZA has more than proven that real-time battles work very well with Pokemon, hand in hand in fact, so much so that I wouldn't be shocked if going forward, the Legends titles decided to keep the real-time aspect. It was a weird situation because Legends Arceus looked like it really wanted to lean into more of a real-time aspect. Getting in and out of battle was so seamless in that game, it wouldn't be wrong to call that an action RPG. In the case of Legends ZA, they fully leaned into that idea and fully embraced it. And as much as I love the traditional formula that again isn't going anywhere, the series definitely needed some major shakeups, and this was one of those very things. So at the very least, I very much hope that going forward, they lean more into it, develop it even more, perfect this formula, and truly allow the Legends games
I don't
to
see
have
a
their
thing, but
own
it's around
style
somewhere.
so that they can
Right,
really
go, man.
differentiate themselves
Yo.
from the mainline generational games. Next, delving
A
more
ghost
into
tried to
like more
approach me.
dedicated
He got
gameplay
buried.
mechanics,
Asked
even
him a
in
question.
open
He
zone
vanished in a
settings,
second.
trainers
I'm
can
walking
be
through Valley.
utilized
Pride pumpkin in the
perfectly
out. My
well.
fault.
After Scarlet and Violet, I was a little worried because there was no way in hell we were ever going to
My
step
fault.
back from the
My
open
fault. Elite ball knowledge with the music, by the way. You got it, gang.
formula when it came to the generational titles. Meaning that if that was truly the case, then a lot of the experience that we gain and all of the training that we're going to do in the overworld is going to be completely reliant on raid battles, because that is simply the best way to earn anything in those games. Having to go out of your way to hunt down trainers got really monotonous and even downright pointless after a certain point in time. And that really sucked because again, I feel like the trainers are one of the most important aspects of Pokemon. However, thanks to the formula discovered in Legend ZA, we have found a way to make trainers work in open zone or open world settings. Imagine a situation in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet where you are running around the open world, just freely moving about. However, instead of the trainers being completely static and just yelling to get your attention, they're actively moving. They're actually walking around the open fields, waiting for you to show up, and they actually chase you so that they can fight. Now, obviously, I don't know if they could make the advantage or disadvantage thing work. I mean, they probably could, but that would be a lot of probably unnecessary work on their end. Honestly, though, as long as they can hunt you down and like force you into a battle, I think that's for the best, right? One of the primary reasons that I think that trainers are important is because they used to serve as something of a skill check. You would battle the trainer nearest to the next town, you would get an idea of what you were going to be walking into because their levels likely reflected what was going to happen next. I guess that is a little bit of a moot point though when it comes to Scarlet and Violet because we were able to quote unquote go in any order when it came to the gyms, so it didn't really matter at the end of the day. But regardless, the trainers were meant to prepare you to get you ready for the next major battle that you were going to encounter. So in the case of Legend ZA, I love the idea that they're actually wandering around, just scouting you out, just hungry, waiting to fight you. It made for a very intense atmosphere, something that Pokemon doesn't get as often as it should. One of the things that people liked most about Pokemon Sword and Shield was the fact that there was an actual audience in a stadium watching you battle every gym leader. The reason people liked it so much is because it actually showcased what Pokemon battling is for what it is. A sport that people around the world of Pokemon enjoy. However,
I'm gonna say it though. The next time y'all have music where like you hear the crowd chanting in the background and it's not like an actual like it's not like apart from the thing, apart from the soundtrack, and that is a bottom soundtrack. I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen to me. I hated Sword and Shield because whenever I got to like it made sense in the actual tournament battles. Like it made sense during like the battles or whatever with the gym leaders. But whenever you were inside of the goddamn thing, whenever you hear like the da 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 da, and it was a crowd cheering, I was like, bro, I just want to hear my music, bro. I don't want to hear nobody yet chanting in the background. It adds to like the what's the word? It adds to the environment of the gym battles. That's what I will say. But the fact that like if you go on like online and you listen to like certain songs and it's still the crowd chanting, and maybe they're separate in actuality, but like if you go on YouTube, some of those songs have the crowd cheering, and I just be like, bro, this is ass. This is so garbage. This is so fucking garbage. This is so garbage. And I get it, people like it, but I don't like it. It is what it is.
The point is that it's a very competitive sport. And again, especially when it comes to the older titles, that's not something that's reflected very often. And I feel like Sword and Shield and Legends EA did some of the best job of showcasing that competition. So I can only really hope that this time around, the teams did a better job of cross-referencing each other and seeing what worked and what didn't work when it came to whatever game that they were developing. And if that is the case, then my biggest hope is that one of the things that they primarily cross-referenced was how the trainers worked in an open zone setting, and that they apply that somehow to the next major generational titles, since those are likely to be open world. Because, you know, it obviously works, and I want it to work more. So that's where I stand with that. That kind of bleeds into my next point. They have definitely proven that a point-based progression system does kind of work. I have been absolutely enamored and in love with the concept of a point-based progression system since I saw how it worked in the anime. Which is why when they introduced to us the concept of the ZA Royale and how you were going to get through the game, I was beyond ecstatic. I don't want to delve too much into it because I do want to have a full dedicated discussion on this very topic. Generally speaking though, as much as I do enjoy the gym-based progression system, I think we do need some changes in that department. And I truly do believe that ZA has shown us a shakeup that can work in modern Pokemon titles, period, going forward. I personally feel like one of the best ways we could do this is to blend the point-based progression with the championship finale tournament style that we had in Sword and Shield. And
that's not a bad idea. Okay, but that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. My problem is the gym leaders, right? The thing about the gym leaders though, what makes the point system work so well is the fact that you aren't in these battles long. The whole real-time aspect of these games, like how smooth these games come out, or how smooth the moves come out, how quickly the battles are, is what keeps that point-based system going. But if you were to say, let's say for instance, we need like, I don't know, like 50 points, 100 points to get to like the first gym battle or to the second gym badge or the third gym badge, and you have to fight, that means you're making the turn-based content, the turn-based battles mandatory. And then you're also like, because turn-based is so slower compared to the real time, it's like, oh, like you kind of have to damn near make the it would have to be like almost like a battle city. Like it would have to be battle city. Like it had to be like a, instead of you fight 5 trainers and then you do the gym leader. If you can beat these 5 trainers and let the trainers be like all like different, all personality driven, they're all scattered somewhere or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. That'd be super solid. Make them harder than the average route trainers. And if you beat 5 of those trainers, or maybe like 2 or 3 trainers or whatever, then you're able to battle the gym leader, and then you're able to like get your gym badge, and then you take the gym badges, then you do the tournament style. But one of my biggest problems with Pokemon is how the worlds are done. Like the worlds themselves are done. Like you can do a tournament style. That's the one thing I think Sword and Shield got like better than everybody else, was having the amount of rivals be that important and be almost their own characters. Like I like when you get to like the very, very end of that game, you have to, what's her name? I forget. Marnie, Bede, Hop, you, and then Leon, and then like maybe like 2 or 3 gym leaders sprinkled in. Like y'all are in a tournament setting. Y'all are battling each other. Y'all are like, you know, these are characters you've seen start their journeys. This is the end of their journeys. They're super strong. They're ready to go. Like I think that they do a really good job at conveying the journey of these characters And them being a part of this tournament, it just makes a lot more sense. I like that idea. I do think that, like, you know, and then honestly, yeah, I think the champion, but then you would have, it's so weird because like the Elite Four and the champion, you would have to make those like either post game, or you would have to make those guys like wandering trainers. And like you know how like in the Pokemon Adventures manga, where like, well, not 100%, but for the most part, you don't see those. You don't see the Elite Four. You don't see the champion at all. You kind of just like, they don't show themselves till like after Red's adventure. They don't contribute to the story till after you're already done saving the world, and they're a threat. But like, don't make them a threat. Make them, like I said, wandering trainers. Like imagine 5. You know how like in Diamond and Pearl where Cynthia's like in other places and she's just walking around. Imagine 5 Cynthia's just wandering around the world. And like, you don't get to battle them until you beat in the game, but hey, come back to me or whatever, and you could probably battle. You like, you have some potential in you. Let's do it. And they have like their own little designated areas. You can go over there to them. That'd be cool. That'd be dope.
I say that because that is precisely how it worked in the anime, and I feel like it would be a lot more interesting if we did it like that in the games as well. And maybe this is just a me thing, but especially in Scarlet and Violet, there was just something about the Elite Four and the champion battles that felt so dated, because you could tell that they tried their best to make it so that these characters were a little more interesting by introducing them to us in the midst of our journey in Scarlet and Violet, but at the same time, we knew what it was leading to, we knew who these characters were, and it just felt so out of place.
Okay, but my next argument would be because Scarlet and Violet are fucking garbage. Those are empty games. If they were to sprinkle the Elite Four multiple times in the story and have them maybe like help you, like let's say we bring side quests from like Legends ZA to the open world of Scarlet and Violet, right? Let's say there is there was like a Great Tusk attached, a Great Tusk side quest in that desert or whatever. And you went over to that desert and there's a Pokemon that's getting attacked or something like that. And you see the Elite Four member needing help or like wanting to help you or whatever. He walks in. If you have multiple versions of that type of quest throughout the thing, you'd be like, okay, cool. This guy's really strong. And if you have a new Pokemon attached to them, oh damn, that I don't know, that Baxcalibur so-and-so is really strong. And you're not able to get that thing until like the very late of the game, or like that area is like kind of like super strong, so you don't want to go there too early or whatever. And when you finally get to go battle him, you get to see that same Pokemon, his ace Pokemon, ready to go. The problem with that is Scarlet and Violet are empty games. The only time you get to see the Elite Four members, or I guess the gym leaders in general, is when they're like in their gym building, in their gym trial or whatever, and maybe the little side quest preloading to them. It's Scarlet and Violet are fucking garbage. Those games are bad, dude.
Anyways, I digress.
My fault.
I really like the way that this system worked in Legends ZA and would love to see this more thoroughly fleshed out in future titles. Next along, and this one could also be kind of a moot point given the situation we were put in, but I think it's possible for customization to continue improving from this point on. I say moot point in this particular situation again because we thought this was going to be the case after Sword and Shield, and it was the exact opposite. One could definitely argue that the customization in Legends Arceus was good, and I wouldn't argue with that. I just think that the problem there was that it suffered from the same situation as Scarlet and Violet, in which the context of the game completely limits how you can design yourself. However, thankfully, in the case of Legends ZA, that is not the case. It's not perfect by any means, but it is easily the best customization we have ever had in a Pokemon game. And I really do pray that going forward, this serves as something of a basis of what we're capable of doing in future titles. Being able to blend different colors with your hairstyle, being able to have different overshirts and coats and stuff like that with different shirts, mixing and matching socks and shoes and things like that is amazing. Amazing freedom to have. And I genuinely believe that having anything less than what we're rocking here would be absolutely criminal. Aside from that, and this kind of plays into what I was saying earlier with the whole sequel situation, but generally speaking, it seems like stories can get more interesting and a little deeper.
My only critique with the customization of Legends ZA is the men options. Like, you can tell a whole bunch of like, like this, it being like Lumio's being inspired off of like France, and like, they're really known for their fashion or whatever. The girls, they got so much good like clothing outfits or whatever. I think the boys, I'm so sorry I'm gonna say this, and I love you all, y'all know, but I'm tired of dressing like a twink. I'm tired of it, bro. Let me get baggy pants. Let me get like I don't know, some extra oomph on the pants. Why did my damn pants gotta be so damn tight on a nigga? Like bro, what's going on? I'm tired, bro. It's sickening. It's the shoes designs are great. The jackets are really solid. I think I would just like baggier clothes. They're getting really close to like the type of black hairstyles that like actual black people wear. They're getting real close to it. And I understand like texture and stuff like that is gonna be like very, very hard once we get to like later parts of like, the graphic fidelity of the games or whatever. But for the most part, they're getting really close to like doing a whole bunch of like having really, really good black hairstyles, which I gotta give them credit for. That's really beautiful. But I think like, more options for the guys. Like I'm tired of being dressed like a twink. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. The pants are always flooding. They're always skin tight to my goddamn thigh. It's like, bro, can we please have something else? I beg of you.
Surprisingly, even without a primary, like, comically evil antagonist. It feels like it's been a while since we've had like a true looming antagonist, right? I mean, granted, technically Rose was an antagonist and so was Volo, but at the same time,
Rose is so fucking garbage.
Not as direct and in your face as like Cyrus was, or Giovanni or something like that. But that's the thing, Scarlet and Violet and Legend ZA have proven to have very awesome stories even without the presence of a direct antagonist in that style. And while part of me definitely does want that real antagonistic force back in these mainline titles, I think it's okay to also have situations like this in which we're still telling a story and something still needs to be stopped, but it's for a different situation other than, oh yeah, the world needs to be cleansed or erased or something like that, like we usually have. And don't get it twisted, I definitely believe that Pokemon could still use some work in the writing department and fleshing out its characters and having actual arcs and things like that. But for what we have, I really like the stories that they've been presenting to us for the last couple of years. And I hope going forward, we can add some of those elements. Next to that, it seems that they might have kind of learned that a little more time and a bigger budget of any kind can help boatloads. I feel like a lot of people can at least agree that Pokemon Legends ZA is generally a higher quality game than Scarlet and Violet. Obviously not by as wide of a margin as we would have liked, but it is. And it kind of shows because they gave that team an extra million over what Scarlet and Violet had, so they had a little bit more to work with. When it comes to the AAA space, 12 to 13 million is not a lot
at all.
For example, you have something like Square Enix putting down damn near 200 million to make something like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. And that quality shows.
Yes.
Those are massive, meaty games that look beautiful.
Yes.
That's because the team had the proper time and budget to develop. So when you compare that to something like Legends ZA, which only had like, what, 3 years of development maybe with a $13 million budget, that's nothing. Now, based on the Giga Leak that we got a couple of months ago, the next set of games are projected to have a budget of around 30 million, which again, for a AAA title game is pretty damn small. But
it's a lot more
massive leap from whatever they were working with Scarlet and Violet.
Let's go, bro! I'm telling you. I love that. I love when competent people make good points and good videos, bro. Oh my god, dude! I've been seeing a whole bunch of like doomer. I'm gonna make a video on this. I'm gonna probably upload it tomorrow, maybe 2 days from now. The Pokemon space, the viral Pokemon videos have all been hating on these games, and it's just like y'all aren't. There's a lack of nuance in these videos, because when you add nuance to the games or nuance to their points, it completely either destroys their points or it makes their personal bias a lot more visible. And I think like that's what makes me so mad, is that people are obviously omitting like information on these games just to get their agendas off. And I'd be like, dog, I need people to understand they're being farmed. They're being farmed. They're literally farming you for a reaction on comments and Twitter and shit like that. I saw some tweet. You know that one viral tweet, that one viral Pokemon Legends ZA video where the guy is like shitting on the game despite him playing like the emulated version of the game, the ROM of the game. I did not know that video existed until I saw it go viral on Twitter. Somebody literally screenshotted the goddamn thing and was like, oh, this is the worst video ever. And that tweet got like 1 million impressions. And even though you might not watch the video off that tweet alone, somebody is going to go watch that video. And that video is going to show up for somebody. You can hate a video into attention and build careers off the shit. And I need y'all to understand, y'all are being formed. Whatever though.
And that in of itself is already a dream come true. Now, in the case of Generation 10 specifically, I feel like time is definitely not going to be on their side. I just really hope that doesn't reflect in the development of the game, because we're getting something for the 30th anniversary. There's no doubt about that. But hopefully we get some quality that we have not seen in a Pokemon game before, and we could really start upping the budget on games going forward, because I think most of us can agree that we deserve better than microscopic budgets for AAA title games that we're paying full price for, right? Sorry to sound like a broken record, but I think that's fair, that if you're expecting us to shell out, you gotta invest more.
That's the bare minimum, bro. Expedition 33 is like $50. Hollow Knight Silksong is $20. You and I both know those games have budgets way smaller than any Pokemon. Like what are we talking about? Like, there are games. There's no reason that there are indie games that do Pokemon better with less. There's just no way. There are games that are just better than Pokemon games that cost less to make. It's like and when you say that, when you say things like, oh, I just want my games to be better, there's some devout Pokemon fan who's like, you guys just aren't real fans of Pokemon. You no longer like Pokemon, or you're just washed up, or you're aged out. It's like, dog, I've been playing these games way more than you have. And I'm sorry, for me personally, as somebody who's played every single Pokemon game at least, at the bare minimum, 10 to 15 times, at least, the last thing I want to ever hear from anybody is, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, bitch. I know these Pokemon games like the back of my fucking hand. Outside of like, I don't know, base total stats, I'm not really good with like numbers. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think like when you start like, especially when there's like 1,000 Pokemon now, and every 1,000 Pokemon has like what, like six stats, and you gotta like, I'm not there. I got an overall basis of like the early Pokemon, but not like the newer ones. I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not too keen on the new guys. You know, like I think like from Galar onwards, I don't really know a lot about their like stat distributions and like whether or not some things are like fast, heavy hitting, what they specialize in. I think that's kind of like where I'm like, you know, vaguish a little bit. I just play a lot more games now than I did in my youth, to be honest. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, like I don't think nobody can ever tell me like I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Pokemon. I'm in this shit for real. And if I'm not, I'm not one of them people who are like gonna be like wrong, and because I feel like I'm right, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna still be right. Like, no, like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. But like I think there are like people who are genuinely so like defensive over their childhood game that the idea of any type of like criticism and any type of like you know, preference that somebody else might have, they'll like project negatively onto them. And it's just like, hold on now, buddy. I'm relaxed. I play these games. Let's calm down. I buy my games. Let's relax. You know what I'm saying? Anywho.
There's nothing crazy about that. That being said, though, I think that just about does it for a lot of what Legends EA tells us about the future, or at least the potential future when it comes to modern Pokemon. Growing up a Sonic fan, I've gotten very tired of the whole situation in which we take very little steps in the right direction, but everything surrounding it is like 12 steps back. We need to continue doing better and growing and improving with these games, especially with gaming becoming much more expensive. It's getting a little hard out here to justify what we're paying for, you know, these games. And I really want them to do better, and I really hope that going forward we can get that quality that we really deserve. And I pray that Generation 10 with that $30 million budget can give us something of quality. But hey, you know what? Maybe that's just me. So that just about does it for this one. This one has been in progress for the last 2 days. And before anybody asks, yes, I do know about Mega Lucario Z. And I like the design. I know a lot of people are not fond of the Hatsune Miku design. And as somebody that does not care about Hatsune Miku in the slightest, I think it looks kind of rad. I can't even front with you, right? So I like it. And hopefully we continue getting even more Mega Evolutions for the DLC, which is basically like a week away at the time of this recording. So yeah, prep up, guys. We got some work to do. But I'm a skedaddle on this way, but I'm gonna need y'all to take that mic.
That's it. Hey, obviously I'm pretty sure most of this is like just outro stuff, but for the most part, this is a solid video. This is a great video. This is really, really good. Make sure y'all go run this video up for sure. Go leave a like on the video. Go show them some love and whatnot. Hopefully, this video does well. I don't know. Hey, the algorithm was algorithmicking. That's for sure. That joint was I got record. This was like #1 on my homepage. I'm gonna be honest with you. So hopefully the video does well in the future. But this was solid. This was super solid. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the comments. I'm pretty sure y'all have some things y'all want to talk about. Some points that he made. Who knows? But yeah, this was solid, man. This was cool. This was cool. And that's gonna be it for me. Leave a like on both videos. Go in there. Go in the description. Go check it out. And I will talk to the next one. Love you guys. Bye.